So this is a final exam video. So the first question, what skills you expected to gain from this class besides the required credit or grade? For me to have a great speaking skills and not get nervous when I'm performing a speech, because I usually get nervous when I have a presentation or public speaking. So that was my main goal or main thing to gain from this class. Second, please list and define terms, concepts from the interpersonal communication chapters 1 and 9, that you apply to your specific interpersonal communication interactions in the future. And please give at least two specific examples. So I did pick two specific examples from each chapter. Chapter 1 is interpersonal communication that occurs within a single person. And then the second one is dyadic communication. It's a two-person communication. Chapter 2, social comparison, evaluation ourselves in terms of how we compare with others, and interpretation, the perceptual process of attaching meaning to stimuli that have previously been selected and organized. Chapter 3, power distance, the degree to which members of a group are willing to accept a difference in power and status. And intersectionality, the idea that people are influenced in unique ways by complete overlap and interaction of multiple identities. And for chapter 4, linguistic relativism, the notion that language influences that way we experience the world. And abstract language, the language that lacks specifically or does not refer to observable behavior or other sensory data. Chapter 5, mindful listening, being fully present with people, and insulated listening, a style in which that receiver ignores undesirable information. Chapter 6, affect blend, the combination of two or more expressions, each showing a different emotion. And paralanguage, non-linguistic means of vocal expression. Chapter 7, interpersonal communication, two-way interactions between people who are part of a close and irreplaceable relation in which they treat each other as unique individuals. And relational message, a message that expresses that social relationship between two or more individuals. And for chapter 8, non-assertion, the inability or unwillingness to express one's thoughts or feelings. And indirect communication, hinting at a message instead of expressing thoughts and feeling directly. And for chapter 9, sociogram, a graphic representation of the interaction pattern in a group. And chain network, a communication network in which information passes sequentially from one member to another. So those are all the specific examples that I want to use in the future. For number 3, please describe your strongest presentation of 3 individual speeches and the qualities that made it your strongest. Please describe one of your classmates' speech that you felt was the strongest and why. Critique each using terms and concepts from public speaking chapter 10 and 10 to 16, and class discussion. My strongest presentation is the interview speech because the topic was something that I wanted to know for a long time. And I think that persuasive speech done by Sierra was the strongest speech because her topic was focused on main issue about Hawaii, and the problem Hawaii is facing currently, which is a problem regarding about her hometown, and I really liked it. I was enjoying it. I got really into her topic, so that's why I think her presentation was one of the strongest. Number 4, what organization pattern did you use to organize your interview speech? time order, logic, reason, topic order, etc. Please define the organization pattern and describe how the organization pattern aided in the presentation of your speech and introducing your basic public speaking skills. Well, for this, I used the topic pattern because I talk about one topic in each different category. And it is also easier for audiences to follow my topic since my topic was best fitted to the topic pattern than time or space pattern. And the topic pattern introduced me how to organize my speech in the best way that audience can remember. So 5, what method of informing did you use in informative speech? Describing, explaining, demonstrating, how to, etc. Please define the method of informing you used to describe the specific techniques you used during your speech to let audience know your method of informing. Well, for this, I use demonstrating method for my informative speech. The method is a good way to prove my point on the topic as well as referencing where I got the information from. And in this way, the audience will know that I'm talking about something I referenced it from somewhere and then trying to demonstrate what it is based on the facts. For number 6, what techniques did you use to get your audience to actuate your persuasive speech by the type of proposition, desired outcome, or directness of approach? Define and cite specific techniques from those categories. The techniques I used for actuate was indirect persuasion. And I used this technique because my speech is mostly based on a fact, and I wanted to emphasize the point of when you intend to prove that it is. Number 8, yeah. How has your public speaking skills improved over the course of this term? You use your micro SD card to assess the difference between your interview, informative, and persuasive speech. Define terms and cite the textbook. Well, I didn't use the micro SD card because we had an online class and we were just performing online. But from interview speech to persuasive speech, I definitely gained a better organizing structure for my speech. Also, I was better at convincing why my topic is interesting to audience, which I see myself improving in these skills. And I was effectively getting better at convincing my topic is interesting and why people should pay attention to my speech. And for number 8, what did your instructor write were your strengths? What did your classmates say that you did well constantly? Well, I have no answer to that. So the next question, number 9, what was the theme in your areas for improvement from the instructor? Did you work on those things from speech to speech? Again, I never got a feedback, so I have no answer to that. So the next one, number 10, what do you think you could have done better in your performance? A specific example of definitions from the textbook and DVD observation. Well, for my review, I could have practiced more on explaining some of the examples in the speech, especially if I had a visual aids, I could explain the example much better and prove or demonstrate well to the audience of what my topic is actually talk about. And the last question for number 11, well, what are your personal professional goals for the future? Please give an example of a time you think you may have to do an individual and group presentation. How does your information you learn in this class have heuristic value? How can you use information to help you improve your public speaking opportunities in the future? In the future, I want to be able to have an effective presentation similar to what Steve Jobs was performing during the Worldwide Developers Conference. In his speech, he was able to explain the new Apple product by using only simpler words and explanation that everyone who was watching the presentation could understand. So in the future, if I get a job and have to perform a presentation to my coworker, I want to recall some of the informing techniques as well as skills to actuate to provide motivation in the work environment. I know the speech and recordings that I made for this course became a strong base for my speech skills, so I will apply it when I have a public speaking I will apply it when I have a public speaking opportunities. Thank you very much.